What's going on, everyone? Bass here, and today I think it's time we take a trip down what is now the Aaron Rodgers rabbit hole saga. So before we get this video started, if you haven't subscribed already, definitely consider subscribing to my channel if you want to keep up to date with basically anything Packers, and especially all the Aaron Rodgers news going on right now. So in today's video, basically what I'm going to do is break down the facts, what we have right now, delegitimize certain reports, go over what would have to happen if a trade were to occur, and then also give my opinion on the entire matter. Now, I did release a short video shortly after the first report came out, but obviously a lot more stuff has happened since then. And that video, I talked about certain things, but my opinion definitely has changed on some of those points. And at that point, I was kind of just angry. I didn't want to lose Aaron Rodgers. None of us do. We're all very confused with this situation, and rightfully so. So today, sit back and enjoy, and let's dive down into it. So firstly, I'm going to go and try to recap everything that has happened since April 29th in chronological order, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on draft night. Adam Schefter dropped the bomb. His tweet said, reigning MVP Aaron Rodgers is so disgruntled with the Green Bay Packers that he's told some within the organization that he does not want to return to the team. League and team sources told ESPN on Thursday. Right after that, a couple tweets followed. One says, Adam Schefter says Packers GM, coach, and CEO Mark Murphy have flown out multiple times to meet with Aaron Rodgers and convince him to come back, and Rodgers, quote unquote, has not budged on his stance. And then also the Packers have offered to extend Aaron Rodgers' contract per Adam Schefter. Those three tweets all happened within 6 minutes and pretty much took Twitter by storm, took all of social media by storm, and pretty much overruled any draft talk that was happening that day, even though it was draft night. It just overruled everything. Then as the draft day / draft night went on, reports came out saying Aaron Rodgers preferred Denver, Las Vegas, San Fran. A report even came out that San Fran had offered the 3rd overall pick and players, potentially including Jimmy Garoppolo, for Aaron Rodgers. And then as the draft came closer and closer, multiple reports came out that a deal is as good as done with the Denver Broncos. They had the 9th overall pick, so people were thinking it would include that, multiple future first-round picks, and some starting players. Of course, that never happened either. At 9:20 p.m. draft night, Dan Wetzel tweeted out, 49ers GM John Lynch said they did call Green Bay today about Aaron Rodgers, and quote unquote, yeah, we inquired, and it was a quick end to the conversation. It wasn't happening. But then all those previous reports shortly after were debunked by Packers GM Brian Gutekunst. He said later that night that only one team had called him after the report came out via Adam Schefter. He basically said, he's not trading Aaron Rodgers, he is our quarterback, he is our leader. Then after the first round of the draft at 12:46 a.m., weirdly enough, Gutekunst denied the fact that John Lynch called him about trading for Aaron Rodgers. Gutekunst said he did not talk with San Fran GM John Lynch about a trade for Rodgers, and as I said before, he said after 5 p.m. he only received one call on a possible Rodgers trade. And then Gutekunst laid it flat out at 12:42 a.m. He said, we are not going to trade Aaron. He also mentioned he thinks Aaron Rodgers will play for Green Bay again, and that's the goal. He's our quarterback, he's our leader. We've been working through this for a little while now. I just think it might take some time, but he's the guy that makes this thing go. So right there, he basically acknowledged that this was a thing. So these reports aren't coming out of nowhere. It didn't blindside him, and it was very clear that this is a thing, but maybe it's a little bit extrapolated. In the same interview, Gutekunst also took fault in saying there's no doubt that he could have communicated better when he took quarterback Jordan Love with the first pick in the draft last year. Presumably, he's talking about not calling Rodgers to tell him he was taking quarterback Jordan Love. So Goot basically owned up to his own mistakes, said communication could have been better, especially with Aaron Rodgers. And then another report came out via Ian Rappaport saying Aaron Rodgers retiring is a serious consideration unless his situation with Green Bay is, quote unquote, repaired to his liking. Now we come around to May 1st, and reports came out that Aaron Rodgers wanted Brian Gutekunst fired, that it was basically him or Goot. This report was released by Charles Robinson, and it basically said Aaron Rodgers is adamant that he won't return to the Packers if Brian Gutekunst remains as the GM. Then also on May 1st at 7:38 p.m., we play this game of he said, she said, and Brian Gutekunst on Aaron Rodgers saying he wanted him fired. He basically said, Aaron hasn't said anything like that to me. I think that's a little unfair to put that on him. Nothing's been communicated directly to me. So at this point, Aaron is either telling an unnamed source to say these things, or the media is exaggerating, lying, or getting false information. Also on May 1st, Matt LaFleur had an interview, and he reiterated that Aaron Rodgers is quote-unquote the greatest to ever do it, and we want him back here. He was then asked at a follow-up question, what if he doesn't want to be back here? And Matt LaFleur responded with, I can't even take my brain to that spot right now. I just want to do everything in my power to ensure that doesn't happen. So it is very clear that both Brian Gutekunst, Matt LaFleur, and even Mark Murphy at this point 100% want Aaron Rodgers to remain a Green Bay Packer for the future. So now Monday, May 3rd comes around, and some very interesting reports come out that the release of Jake Kumerow was the final straw. Ian Rappaport reported that the Packers releasing Jake Kumerow almost immediately after Aaron Rodgers praised him was described as a death knell in the relationship. Simultaneously, AJ Hawk was joining Pat McAfee on his show, and without him even knowing the report, he also said the same thing about Aaron Rodgers being upset about Jake Kumerow. AJ Hawk then added, I don't even think it was about Jordan Love. Tiny things over the years that they could have done to make him feel more of a partner. Aaron publicly voiced his high opinion on Jake Kumerow and him being part of the offense as the number 3 wide receiver and was counting on him. Very next day during cuts, the Packers did indeed cut Jake Kumerow. I don't even think it was generally about Jake Kumerow. I think it was more so it really did make Aaron Rodgers look kind of foolish, putting so much praise behind someone, clearly wanting him in the offense, clearly thinking he could contribute to the football team, and then the very next day he's cut. So people saying it was over Jake Kumerow, an undrafted free agent that barely did anything on the Packers, I think you're kind of missing the point. Now, AJ Hawk mentioned tiny things. Now, in my opinion, tiny things could be the firing of Alex Van Pelt, a very favorite quarterback coach Aaron Rodgers loved, cutting Jordy Nelson, not telling Aaron Rodgers that they're drafting his future replacement in Jordan Love, and then also, like they said, cutting Jake Kumerow the day after Aaron Rodgers praised him. Now you may be wondering, why does AJ Hawk have a say in this? Well, AJ Hawk was with Aaron Rodgers most of the weekend at the Kentucky Derby, and here's a picture of him right next to him. Pat McAfee then asked AJ Hawk about the whole retiring report, and AJ Hawk said, quote unquote, in my opinion, there is a 0% chance Aaron Rodgers is retiring. He basically then went to say, that's not like Aaron Rodgers. I know him. I don't see him retiring at all. Then when AJ Hawk was asked about the whole Brian Gutekunst versus Aaron Rodgers thing, he said, quote unquote, that's garbage. Aaron is not out here to say fire Goody, but then said, I'm not speaking for him though. So at this point, I do trust AJ Hawk because he's the only one that has spoken on Aaron Rodgers that actually has been proven to have contact with him as of this weekend. And obviously they're out there having a good time at the Kentucky Derby. It's not a business trip. They're probably not going to be talking about these things, but there's no way that couldn't be brought up, especially considering AJ Hawk is a good friend of Aaron's. So even though we got those little things from AJ Hawk, I still trust them over some of these main media reports. But on the flip side, it is worrisome that Aaron hasn't said anything, but he has publicly shown his disdain with the media in the past and basically said there's no point to reply to it. He said this a couple times on the Pat McAfee show, so roll the clip.
Seriously, is anybody surprised? Is anybody surprised?
No.
All
I guess not.
the fucking media does is write stories to get clicks. So it doesn't matter. Like, I can give a long answer about something, and they can take a blip of it and write a story about it.
But you would at least think Aaron Rodgers would at least deny some of these outlandish reports if he truly wanted to remain in Green Bay. But of course, that's not all there is, and later that night, Davante Adams sent out a cryptic tweet saying, gotta appreciate what you got while you got it. And you might think, hey, that's just about Davante Adams, it could be a personal life thing, whatever. But guess what? Aaron Rodgers liked the tweet. It could mean something, it could mean nothing. I don't think Aaron Rodgers would be this petty to play this whole game of liking tweets and not saying anything, but you never know. Now we move on to this morning, Tuesday, May 4th, and the report came out by Diana Rossini saying there is a 0% chance quarterback Aaron Rodgers returns to the Packers. She also added that a potential trade could not be completed until after June 1st and look out for the Broncos as a landing spot. Adding, the Denver Broncos continue to be the team I hear that are going to be the most interested in Aaron Rodgers and are going to put the most in front of the Green Bay Packers to try to make this trade go down. Alright, so now let's cover the how. Let's play the game of saying these reports are true. Aaron Rodgers is pretty much going to be traded. Let's just play that game. This is how it could happen. As you recall, Diana Rossini said it cannot be completed until June 1st. Here's why. So Aaron Rodgers currently counts for $37.2 million against the cap. If he was traded today, he would then count towards $38.35 million against the cap. They would literally lose money for trading him today. $1,154,000. Now, if he were to be traded after June 1st, then he counts $21.15 million against the cap in 2021 and $17.2 million against the cap in 2022. So basically, you're still going to pay for him this year and next year. So if a trade did happen after June 1st, they'd save roughly $16 million for 2021, but carry a dead cap hit of $17.2 million in 2022. So that's why a lot of people, especially people who understand how the salary cap works, thinks Aaron Rodgers will not be traded in 2021 as a whole. So they think either Aaron Rodgers plays on the Packers this year and something's figured out, or Aaron Rodgers doesn't play and retires. This has got to be worse than Favre watch. Alright, so now that all the facts and all the reports and everything has been stated, I will let you form your own opinion, but now I want to go over my thoughts and my opinion on the matter. Firstly, let's get out of the way. There is a lot of smoke, and I think there is a lot us fans have no idea about. And as we know, a lot of the media will post anything for clicks. They will post anything to get their name out there, and they always want to be the first ones that are right. I also think this could be a negotiation tactic by Aaron Rodgers to kind of, be more in with the team in terms of personnel decisions, which is a slippery slope to go down. But in my opinion, this is very unlike Aaron Rodgers to leak something like this, especially to the media, which he showed he doesn't really like. I'm not denying there's separation here because Gutekunst, Mark Murphy, and Matt LaFleur have all acknowledged it. Aaron Rodgers is pretty much the only one that hasn't said anything. But to say there's 0% chance that Aaron Rodgers is going to play for the Packers again, I think is just not right. Because then I ask myself, what does Aaron Rodgers really gain out of this? What does he really gain from these reports leaking, especially on draft night, right before the first round? If he truly does not want to be with the Packers anymore, what more does he really want? He's getting paid a lot. They have all pros at all three other most important positions on offense, one of the best offensive lines in the entire league, an up-and-coming young and talented defense who just added more skill to it, the number one wide receiver in the league, and in my opinion, the number one supporting fan base. We all love you, Aaron. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I think he does want to be included more, but to say he basically wants to be the GM and wants the GM fired, I don't believe that. I'm going to take AJ Hawk's word for it, and also it just doesn't make any sense for me for Aaron Rodgers to play that game of me or the GM. I think what may be happening, if this is truly as big as it is, in Aaron Rodgers' mind, he might see what kind of control Tom Brady's had over his career and the control he's had at Tampa Bay so far, and he continues to win rings while Aaron Rodgers keeps coming up short. And then obviously the draft probably doesn't help that case in his mind. When you draft his future replacement, you never draft a wide receiver in the first round. And I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers has no help and has no weapons. I mean, they were the number one offense last year. To say that's a little bit silly. They hired Matt LaFleur, who is a young coach, runs an offense Aaron Rodgers kind of wanted to run. They practically got rid of Mike McCarthy because of Aaron Rodgers. They just brought back Aaron Jones, who's a pivotal part in this offense. They just brought back David Bakhtiari, who's protected Aaron Rodgers for the past 7 years. So to say he has zero help or very little help, I think is just a very lazy take. Could he get more help? Could they go after a wide receiver last year like Brandon Ayuk or trade up, which they've explained they tried to trade up for Justin Jefferson and maybe grab Ayuk? Could that have been done? Yes, but we can't just sit here and play this hindsight game. So basically at this point, we kind of have to let it ride out. Now, I think we're going to learn a lot more as June 1st gets closer and closer, but I don't know if we're necessarily going to even hear from Aaron Rodgers until that even happens. But I'm definitely interested to hear your thoughts down in the comments. What do you think of this whole situation? Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to remain a Green Bay Packer? Do you think he's going to be a Green Bay Packer in 2021? Or do you think Jordan Love is going to have to take over the reins and we're going to have to move to the next era of this football team? I hope you learned something today and you enjoyed this basically Aaron Rodgers saga update and the rabbit hole that it has become. As more things come out, I will update you guys, obviously, with more update videos. But on that note, I'll catch you on the next one. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your Tuesday afternoon. And as always, go Pack Go.